Next up in the town of Plymouth, an iconic ship is about to get an overhaul, as WGBH's Stephanie Lydon reports. Restoring the Mayflower Two is a complicated project because the replica has a history all of its own.
Come aboard on a raw and windy day, and you might not want to linger, but like the LaFont family from Texas, you'll be better able to imagine landing here, as the Pilgrims did 400 years ago.
It makes it more real that these people were not out here on a nice sunny day on the beach, that this is like a rough situation that they had to live in.
102 people crowded for months below deck on a boat made not for humans, but cargo. This isn't the real thing, but the Mayflower Two is as close as we've got.
After nearly 2 months at sea, Mayflower II sails into harbor at Plymouth, Massachusetts.
Like the original, it sailed here from England. It was 1957, and a film crew captured it all. John F. Kennedy was among those in a crowd of 25,000 people who gathered at Plymouth Harbor to welcome the ship.
The Mayflower drops anchor hard by Plymouth Rock.
In the wake of World War II, the Mayflower Two was a gift of gratitude from Great Britain to the United States.
So she tells two stories in one ship, really. She tells the story of that 1620 passage, that voyage that made a nation, but she also tells the story of friendship between nations.
The ship is now nearly 60 years old, young in the timeline of U.S. history, but old enough to need work.
These clamps here you can see are really cracked, and you can see the rust from the rivets.
The goal is to restore the Mayflower Two in the same manner it was built, with the same materials.
We might be looking to the Pacific Northwest for the types of wood that would be required to replace a mast.
Sometime before Thanksgiving, the Mayflower Two will be towed down to Mystic, Connecticut, where it will undergo repairs for the next 2.5 years. The Mayflower Two last set sail 2 years ago for a documentary called The Pilgrims. After its 21st century restoration, the ship is expected to once again be seaworthy, but also to retain the bare bones feel of a 17th century merchant ship.
One of the most compelling things about this ship is that it begs us to ask the question, why would you do that? Why would you bring your family? What's the motivation for coming to a new place under these circumstances that were really quite challenging? And so this ship really tells that story.
Stephanie Lydon joins me now. Nice to see you.
How
much money are we talking about?
Looking to raise $7 million in the short term, 12 overall to have money for maintenance.
Where's the money come from?
Right now they're getting it from grants, federal, state grants, and they are now getting some traction from individual contributions. They just started a GoFundMe page, for instance.
So this thing won't be on display, but I have to say, I would love to see them doing the work on this thing. Is that doable?
You can head down to Connecticut to the Mystic Seaport, and it's not going to be on display. You can't walk on it like you can now, but you will be able to see the craftsmen at work, so get a little peek.
But anytime you want, or you got to do?
Well, that's a great question. My understanding is it's going to be down there, and that I don't know if it's certain times or not.
It wasn't a great question,
but give them a call before you go, Jim.
And so I'm assuming, Plymouth, in great part, is a tourist place in addition to everything else.
Yeah.
This draws like hundreds of thousands of people?
Yeah, 300,000 people a year.
So are they nervous? What is it, 2.5 years? What are we just
2.5 years.
How nervous are they about the negative, will there be a negative impact on tourism?
Well,
that's a great question.
The good news is the rock is there, Jim, and it's not going anywhere.
No, but I'm serious. So this is part of the mix when you go there.
It is part of the mix. Plymouth Plantation's down the street, but it's not right there. They are getting ready to celebrate their 400th anniversary in 2020. So they hope the boat will be back and the tourists will be back for that as well. So maybe they'll make up for any lost business.
I love the wind in that package.
Oh, it was a cold day, Jim.
Stephanie, good to see you. Thanks so much.